Q6040-7. The least complex outcome in the psychomotor domain is A. Adaptation. B. Mechanism. C. Perception. The correct answer is C. In the psychomotor domain, which focuses on physical skills and motor development, the least complex outcome is perception. Perception refers to the ability to become aware of or recognize stimuli through the senses. It involves the basic sensory processes of seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, and smelling. Perception is an essential foundation for further development in the psychomotor domain because it allows individuals to observe and take in information from the environment. While perception is crucial, it represents the initial stage of skill development. It is the starting point from which individuals begin to acquire more complex motor skills and progress through the levels of the psychomotor domain taxonomy. 6040-8. Which skill is an example of psychomotor domain of learning? A. Flying the airplane. B. Asking a question after the instructor tunes the GPS. C. Signing an endorsement in a logbook. The correct answer is A. The psychomotor domain of learning focuses on physical skills and motor development. It involves acquiring and refining skills that require coordination, dexterity, and control of bodily movements. Flying an airplane is a clear example of a skill that falls within the psychomotor domain. It requires the development and application of physical motor skills, such as manipulating the controls, operating the instruments, and coordinating movements to control the aircraft's flight. Flying an airplane involves a range of physical actions, including operating the throttle, control surfaces, and navigation instruments. It demands a high level of coordination, fine motor skills, and sensory-motor integration to maintain control and execute maneuvers effectively. 6040-9. Which skill involves the cognitive domain of learning? A. Understanding how the flight controls should be positioned during a turn. B. Positive reception for learning new skills. C. Performing a short field approach and landing to FAA test standards. The correct answer is A. The cognitive domain of learning pertains to knowledge acquisition, comprehension, and intellectual processes. It involves mental activities such as understanding, remembering, analyzing, evaluating, and applying information. Understanding how the flight controls should be positioned during a turn requires cognitive processes and falls within the cognitive domain of learning. It involves comprehending the principles and concepts related to aircraft control and maneuvering. This skill requires the learner to acquire knowledge about the aerodynamics of turns, the effective control inputs, and the coordination required to execute a proper turn. By understanding how the flight controls should be positioned during a turn, the learner demonstrates cognitive abilities such as comprehension, analysis, and application. They are able to apply their knowledge and understanding of flight principles to effectively control the aircraft during turns. 6040-14. Which is an example of the affective domain? A. Reacting to an instructor's question. B. Answering an instructor's question. C. Demonstrating a skill to the instructor. The correct answer is A. The affective domain of learning is concerned with attitudes, values, emotions, and beliefs. It focuses on the development of a person's feelings, motivations, and the formation of a positive or negative response towards a particular topic or situation. Reacting to an instructor's question is an example of the affective domain because it involves an emotional and attitudinal response. How a learner reacts to a question from an instructor can reflect their level of interest, engagement, confidence, or enthusiasm towards the subject matter. It may demonstrate their willingness to participate, their level of attentiveness, or their emotional connection to the topic being discussed. 6040-11. Which domain of learning requires remembering facts and concepts? A. Cognitive. B. Affective. C. Comprehensive. The correct answer is A. The cognitive domain of learning involves mental processes such as acquiring knowledge, understanding concepts, and developing intellectual skills. It encompasses remembering, comprehending, analyzing, synthesizing, and evaluating information. Remembering facts and concepts is a fundamental aspect of the cognitive domain. It refers to the ability to retain and recall information, such as facts, definitions, principles, or theories. Remembering is the first stage of cognitive processing and lays the foundation for higher-order thinking and problem-solving. By remembering facts and concepts, learners demonstrate their ability to acquire and retain knowledge, which forms the basis for further cognitive development. It involves the storage and retrieval of information from memory, allowing learners to recall and apply what they have learned.